Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for October 3rd, 2021, with your hosts, SpaceBreaker2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
Good lord, it's already fucking October.
Yep.
I was talking to my mom today, and she's like, hey, what do you want for Christmas? And I'm like, it's too early to talk about that. And then I'm like, oh fuck, it is October. Fuck. Granted, with shipping delays and stuff, I should probably be Christmas shopping now.
Yeah.
Great. Fun. But yeah, folks, we are continuing our look at Deno with episodes 25 through 28, a three-part run-up to the movie Ore Tanjo, and then the Fallout episode of said movie. Weirdly, I feel like you can not watch the movie, but yet get everything you need to know from these episodes.
Yeah, and oddly enough, I kind of like that. Like, I will full on admit the fact that we didn't really get the exposition as to the oddball scenes leading up to in the first three there. Until later in, it did kind of throw me off a little bit, but at the same time, I'm like, that's kind of a cool way of doing it.
Yeah, situation of, oh god, why is there 3 Yutos now? Oh no. What do you mean there's 2 Denebs? Wait, is this our Hana or a different Hana?
Yeah, all of that confusion.
Yeah.
But it's one of those that, in all seriousness, it kind of makes me realize why we kind of saw what we did out of Drive, too. I think they were trying to tap into that same mentality for the movie.
Right.
Just, they didn't go as hard on it.
Well, you didn't really need... Well, no, nothing really from the movie affected the series at all, didn't it?
Not really. And I mean, effectively, the way I kind of grasp this movie kind of just does a reset on itself too.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it does set up something for the last episode, but outside of that, by the end of these 4 plus the movie, we're pretty much back to square one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we got too much farther.
Also, guess what came up on my my iTunes playlist for the stream?
What?
The fucking 12 Days of Christmas Payday song.
It knows.
God. Yeah.
It's
knows.
sentient.
Yeah. Yeah, also, it's a movie that's in canon with the series. Like, hard in canon with the series. This isn't an optional in canon.
Which is nice.
I like it when Toei at least attempts to commit to continuity instead of wibbly wobbly timely wimey bullshits it.
Well, I mean, if I'm not wrong, for the most part, isn't continuity within the show kind of fine as far as what Toei does? It's usually the crossovers that throw continuity out the window.
I
did say for the most part.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
as was pointed out multiple times, when you start dealing with Ghost, and anything with Ghost. Continuity
Yeah.
is literally out the window, but
Well, the weird thing with a lot of Heisei Phase 1 solo films is that they're not meant to be in continuity to start with. They're all supposed to be different alternate takes on the series in general. So, like,
so
the
then
Ryuki...
this kind of broke the mold then.
Yeah, like, something we'll be taking a look at in the future because we'll be doing Ryuki in a couple months or so. The episode final movie for Ryuki, it's not in continuity with the show. It's a different finale for the show, essentially. Let's see if I can remember the others. Agito's technically not.
Did the same thing.
Yeah. Kiva's I don't think is in canon, mainly because of timey-wimey bullshit that it fucked up. Kabuto's is just an alternate universe in general, although it's supposed to have connections to the show. The show ejected all those connections later in the show, so it's just an alternate universe thing. Hibiki's is just a prequel story that technically is out of canon because of the end of the movie that is in the present, but just ignore that and accept all the prequel stuff is in canon. Like a hard prequel movie that pretty much has a brand new cast. Blades is an alternate ending to the series. Spies is an alternate universe. Miyuki. Agito's I don't think is in canon either. I don't think it's supposed to be in canon, although I think it had a couple episodes lead in. It doesn't kind of line up in canon anyway. So it's kind of its own thing. So yeah, honestly, the Den-O movie here is like the hardest in canon out of every Phase 1 movie, and also the hardest in canon movie until like Double Forever. And they never tried again.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's what's bad. Most of the solo movies, Phase 2 side of things, is kind of just one-offs that either A, mean absolutely nothing, or B, get reset and still mean absolutely nothing. Because tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah. You saying that makes me go, yeah, you can kind of ignore the Wizard movie. You can ignore the Guy movie. You can ignore the Ghost movie.
It self-implodes itself.
Yeah. Can't ignore the X8 movie, but it's actually supposed to be the finale of the series to start with, so... Because it takes place after the show is over. The Build movie is honestly ignorable. Yeah, the Build movie is honestly ignorable in relation to the series. O's can't even be in continuity. Forza also is completely ignorable. Because that has nothing to do with canon. They don't like to do... I guess I can understand it because when the writer, which usually is the same writer, which kind of negates this entire point, but I guess it's a case of if things change, they don't want to have a hard point and then have to rewrite the movie on the fly, since I think usually the movie and the show are being filmed at the same time. Which is why we do a whole lot of in-suit stuff, so the actors don't have to be here.
Well, I kind of almost feel like the other part of it is because of the fact of the ending is not really concrete.
Yeah.
So it's harder to pinpoint where the movie actually should happen. Because you've got two options. You either do it as a post-series movie that more than likely isn't going to be released post-series.
So you spoil everything you're going to do.
Or you have to kind of go with the alternate mentality. Because, I mean, I'd almost feel like the writers probably couldn't even plan what they want to do as the ending and then still work a movie in the middle of it without screwing something up. And I have to wonder if that's maybe a fear that they kind of just avoid by doing that. Which to that I'm like, yeah, fair, because not many shows have the ability to do what Den-O can do and just say, oh, yeah, time shenanigans.
Yeah. Also, we'll get to it next week, but I refuse to accept any other, like, point of Edge Generations Forever being a Den-O tribute. It's a Den-O tribute. Through and through. It is not a Kugan double tribute. I don't care what they say. I don't care what Ride watches. Sogo gets in the movie. It is clearly a Den-O tribute. Motherfucker, watch this goddamn movie and then tell me otherwise. Watch Den-O in general and tell me otherwise.
Okay. To this, I'm going to say, wait a minute. You mean double had a tribute?
Yes.
Because that was not it.
Yeah. No, it is not a double tribute in any reasonable forms. I am not counting Noodle Man showing up and giving Sogo the fucking double ride watch going, oh yeah, Sotaro told me to give this to someone who looked cool, I guess.
That and was breaking all forms of logic.
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Like, it is clearly a Den-O tribute. Through and through. It is clearly written to be a Den-O tribute. Kuga is a plot device. Double is a cameo. Neither of those equal tribute. Neither of those two things together do not equal tribute. Not in the way the rest of the show is written.
Well, not in the way the rest of the show is cobbled together, is what you meant to say.
Yeah. Granted,
at times I wonder how.
Granted, I saw an article someone wrote talking about Geo and talking about, no, it's good because it's a mess and nonsense, because Shirakura makes interesting things when he makes messes and nonsense as a producer. And I go, no. I'm sorry, but no.
The only way that Geo is even remotely close to being able to be enjoyed is if you treat it as you have these characters in a sandbox and we're going to do whatever the heck we want to with them.
Yeah.
There is no trying to make that work into continuity, trying to figure out any of the stuff that the show don't even understand what its rules are. No. No, this is a sandbox of we're going to do whatever we want to get the thing, to act like we're stopping the thing but really not, and walk away.
Yep. Anywho, folks, shall we talk about the episodes then?
I guess so.
All right, we shall kick off with episode 25, Climax Double Jump. So, at night, Ryotaro is asleep when a random small tiny baby dinosaur comes running into his room, followed by Deneb, who is trying to catch small tiny baby dinosaur. because it escaped the Zero Liner, I guess, after it hopped on board. So Yuto shows up, and they kidnap Ryotaro because he is needed for the climax scene.
Also, any time that anyone mentions the climax scene, just prepared to be thinking of movie form of said character. That's the easiest way to think of that.
Pretty much. I love that they also mean literally the climax of the movie. But anyway, they kidnap Ryotaro. They take him to the Jurassic era, or time of dinosaurs, essentially, since there are technically multiple times of dinosaurs, and they kind of get mushed into one time of dinosaurs in media. It is time of dinosaurs.
Yes.
He wakes up, only for Yuto to knock him out again, this time with a spray bottle. But he is conscious long enough for us to see that Utoros possesses him. We cut to the next day, where he wakes up in bed and thinks it's all a dream, until he sees that he is bruised up. And when he leaves, we see the footprints of said small baby dinosaur on the door. Therefore, was no dream. Timey-wimey shenanigans are in play. He discusses it with Hana, who decides to go ask the crew about this, because they're all stumped of what the fuck.
Rightly so.
Yep. And when she talks to the Denliner crew, everyone's like, I didn't possess him last night. That's not what happened. And when Yuto drops by the shop, Ryotaro also asks him about the stuff, and Yuto's also like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Meanwhile to all this, some random guy gets possessed by an Imagin. He's kind of not important to this entire plot.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tweedledum, I think. I forget which one's Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
One of the Tweedles.
One of the Tweedles stumbles into the shop and gets hurt, so Ari has to take him to the hospital. So Ryotaro is left in charge of the shop. He has to put up decorations and stuff for some party thing that's going to be happening at the shop. And Yuto gets wrangled into it because Deneb possesses him and then embarrasses him for a little bit until he agrees. So they decide to put up decorations, and we see that Yuto is a space nerd because he puts up the decorations exactly like constellations. And also probably in the way they would be in the sky. But Deneb is happy about this as we see ninjas run past him, and a different Deneb is chasing them. And then they run off, and then Hana comes and grabs Deneb and goes to the Denliner. She talks to him. He's still he's clueless. So again, no progress on this. But later on, the other Tweedle shows up to the hospital, and he gets sent to the shop to help Ryotaro. And I think eventually the guy who's possessed by the Imagin, I think, drops by the shop, and we see the sand coming off of him. So Ryotaro and Yuto follow him to the hospital, and they just left the Tweedle in charge of the shop.
Which makes you wonder if that was actually the smart decision or not.
Well, at some point they left Naomi with him.
Get back to the current statement I just made.
Yeah. But they go after him. He's visiting his sister in the hospital. And we see the Imagin trying to attack both of them. And Yuto and Ryotaro go to try and intercept them. But Ryotaro gets pulled into the Zero Liner by another Deneb. So he's not there. Yuto's left alone. He has to burn one of his cards to fight the Imagin. And he gets all angry and upset about it after he blows it up. And we end the episode with Ryocho being taken to the past through different time periods until we are back at the dinosaur period. And he's knocked out by Yuto again. And this time, Kintaros possesses him. As we see Utaros, Ryotaro possessed by Utaros in a suit and stuff. And Ryotaro's also there. Because it's just the three of them. No Momotaros in these scenes.
Because that is plot convenient for the movie.
Yep. Which takes us to episode 26, The Ticket to God's Line. So we head back to the present. Yuto is pissed about the whole situation until Denob's like, oh, by the way, that one Maja we just blew up can split in half, so there's still one of him out there. So we gotta go find him. The Milk Dipper is handling the party and stuff. As we see Naomi and one of the Tweedles working at it, and Naomi is serving her coffee, which confuses everybody. Even Ari and the other Tweedle when they show up at the shop later. Someone has to have a recipe for this. Look, I know Prawn Horde Heroes on YouTube has been doing like Toku-inspired recipes. I need to see this coffee on one of their videos. I need to see this. I need to see them attempt this and try to figure out how the fuck do we make something edible out of this nonsense that we see. But the Deadliner crew and Yuto are lost as to where Ryotaro is when they all converge on the Deadliner until Ryotaro shows up with various things from the past. As he's like, guys, Deneb kidnapped me, and Yuto knocked me out, and Kentaro's possessed me, and now I'm back in the present, and I don't know what the fuck's happening. Help. Please help. And of course, everyone is confused by this. Which, weirdly, doesn't this contradict a thing from the 4th episode?
Which thing?
The memory thing from the 4th episode.
Well, if it wasn't for the last episode in the batch, I would be like, well, maybe when they were returning him back, they were returning him to each of the times that he got abducted. Except for the thing that's mentioned in the 4th one about him only remembering to, and I'm just going to say it, fighting with Momotaros.
That's probably the point, because he technically doesn't remember fighting with Kentaros. He just remembers everything leading up to being knocked out and possessed.
But at that point, he shouldn't.
Fair.
Because he would have had to have been returned. So... yeah. We've made a minor problem that is confusing.
Yeah.
Probably confusing enough that I'm fine with it.
I think, well, we don't establish when the 3rd one gets returned either.
Yeah.
Because that happens between episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, Yuto storms off. He's like, I don't fucking know what's happening. I'm leaving. I'm mad already. And Ryotaro follows him. And he's, of course, injured and busted up from, spoilers, the movie. But he still follows. And at this point, Owner gives us the necessary exposition that I'm sure is repeated in the movie about God's train, or as I was calling it, the Godliner. Because I think it might technically be the Gowliner?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if it was going to end up being the Gowliner or not. So, I didn't want to say it was the Gowliner. But he tells us that it offers a different way of traveling through time besides people's memories. So, essentially it's a normal time travel machine. But it should be lost to time. You said the same thing about the Zero Liner, and look how that turned out. So maybe we need to do an audit on where all our trains are, since there are apparently several trains.
That, or we need to, you know, teach owner the difference between lost and just not found in the last little bit.
Stuck in a cave somewhere.
Yeah.
Purposely put in a cave so nobody will find it.
Because yeah. It's not lost if it shows up immediately.
But our riders decide to just camp out the siblings' hospital room in order to intercept the Imogen. But the Imogen decides, oh, this girl just needs to see a starry sky. There's too many lights in the city. Fuck the power then. Let's just shut all the power off. No lights. She sees starry sky. That's a contract complete, right?
I mean, sounds good.
Yep. So he does that, and once our riders see that the power's off, they're like, oh shit, fuck, he bypassed it. Oh no. And they get there too late. He's already hopped through time. Yuto scans the card, gets the date. We find out it's a date from when the sister was not sick with plot virus thing, I guess. They never specify.
Fair.
They never specify why a person is hospital. They haven't specified in Revice why the mom is still in the hospital.
I know, right?
She is just still there with vague head injury, I guess.
Gets vague head injury, stays in hospital for 4 weeks.
Plus, probably at this point. I guess they don't
that's
want her...
what we at least know at the moment is 4 weeks.
Yeah. But yeah, Ryotaro decides to follow because I'm gonna make it up to you. So he goes off, does this, gets back in time as our current Yuto meets slightly in the future Yuto. And when we go back in time, old man Yuto is here and almost gets crushed by debris, except Ryotaro saves him on accident because he doesn't even know he's there.
Also, how funny would it have been if we'd had a moment where all 3 of them were like within feet of each other?
Oh god, Yuto, and Yuto, oh my god. And none of them talk to each other, so we get no progression on that plot line at all. Hell yeah. But Ryotaro takes over for the fight. He shoots up the Imogen and stuff. Until we see Yuto just hanging out at the pillar being like, fuck, he needs to hurry up. We need him for the climax scene. And takes a pot shot at the Imogen, which upsets Ryotaro. So he just leaves and calls Momo to take over. So Momo blows up the Imogen. Actually, no, better question. Which Yuto is this?
I think it was mentioned later that it was future.
Okay. I was just like, wait. Because now the both Yutos know.
I think he made the comment about he had to help him in battle when he was explaining all of this to him. So I'm assuming future. I don't know. I got confused on this until it got explained to us.
Yeah. But anyway, Majin goes boom. Ryotaro comes back to the present. Him and Yuto head to the siblings, and they both land on the idea of taking the siblings to the hill that Ari likes so the sister can see the stars. And they do. And once we're there, Yuto explains, oh yeah, today is the day that there's a big comet thing. The day in the memory was also a big comet thing. Again, he's big space nerd. He loves space. Him and Forze would get along really well.
Maybe.
Maybe. Honestly, that feels like a missed opportunity. It's like, why did we have never teamed up Xeranos and Forze?
Yes,
At all.
That is a missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I will agree.
Actually, no, better yet, Xeranos and Meteor.
Yes.
Anyway, they do that, and Yuto tells Ryotaro, "Hey, by the way, my future self needs you for a hot minute. You're gonna need to hop on the train." So the train shows up. Deneb takes him. Train leaves. Current Yuto says, waves hi to slightly in the future Yuto, as in, I guess tomorrow Yuto. I guess, or next week Yuto. Yeah. But anyway, they kidnap him because they need him for the climax scene, because Gao, the villain of the movie, has hijacked the Den liner in a scene that doesn't line up with the continuity of where we're currently at, because the clip they show from the movie has both Momotaros and Kentaros locked up in a cage, which means it must be from earlier than where we are currently in the movie, I guess.
Huh.
But yeah, he's after the God liner or the Gal liner, and they need multiple Ryotaros to beat Den-O for the climax scene. So they bring him to the dinosaur time. Ryotaros just immediately possesses him because it's just like, he'll get knocked out when I possess him. It's fine. And oversees his house by saying, "Hey, you'll need a certain ticket to see what happens next." And the ticket is one of the rider tickets we've been seeing over the course of the series, but it's Gao on the ticket. And it might have the date for the movie. I didn't pay attention to the date part.
I didn't either. It probably was.
It wouldn't surprise me. It also wouldn't surprise me if they sold that as like the purchase bonus for buying the ticket to the movie. Is here's the Gal ticket.
Here is your ticket.
How'd you feel about our first time?
Confused until the end.
True. We just keep having Deneb kidnapping Ryotaros throughout these two episodes. It's like, wait, what the fuck's going on? Yuto, explain.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's still a good 2 episodes. It's a good lead up to the movie, because that's the only part I'm really interested in for these 2 episodes, because the sibling stuff is meh. It's
fair.
Monster of the 2 episodes kind of material. It's ignorable.
Yeah.
Especially for the next 2. Oh boy, the next 2 just feel absolutely unnecessary, and it's just all for setup. Shall we get into them?
I guess we shall.
All right, we kick off with episode 27, Schedule Disrupting Fang. So, at night, a pair of thieves are breaking into the Milk Dipper to uncover some jewels that are in the floor of the Milk Dipper. They are interrupted by a sleepwalking Ryotaro carrying a lamp that I will point out is plugged in somewhere from where he came from, because you see the cord he's dragging along with him. Question: why does he have a lamp that is a mile goddamn long?
I mean, reasons?
Apparently. But he is carrying this lamp, and he falls back asleep after he scares the thieves. Until Momotaros possesses him and is just like, hi, you're breaking into the wrong place, and roughs them up and runs them off. And then Ari shows up being like, what's all the racket about? I love that Motaros has to be like, oh, can't, nope, not gonna look. Just gonna try to have a casual conversation while also trying to pretend to be Ryutaro for a quick second. But as the thieves run away, they get contracted by not one, but two different Imagin in service of Gao in order to further his plans. But the next day, as the Tweedles find out about this, and they're like, we're gonna help stake the place out in case they come back. And I'm like, you're so unneeded. Although what's seen later is good, because fuck one of you. But Denim also hears about this, so Yuto comes by to, like, I guess, find out what's going on. The Genliner crew also hear about this, I guess, from Motaros, and they're all on board. Except Hana's like, you guys can't come. You're only going to cause trouble. But they're like, no, we will defend the Milk Dipper. Except for Ryutaros, who's like, thieves are boring. I don't want to be a part of this. Probably for the best, he would probably try to murder them.
I mean, yeah. Just yeah. Yeah, he would.
But we see Hana and our other three Imagin show up later. The three of the Imagin are in the mascot costumes. Momotaros is in a new one. He's in a wolf costume. The other two are in the ones from the previous episode they did this bit. And I like that one of the Tweedles like makes a pass at Hana, and then the three Imagin are like, the fuck did you just say? And immediately fucking take him to task of like, no. You are in no way or shape or form in her league. But I do like that she has to step in, tell them to stand the fuck down in order for it not to cause a scene that would probably end in this man being murdered.
Or at least beat to a pulp.
Which I am sad didn't happen, but I don't like these two dumbasses anyway.
Yeah.
I wonder, I have to think there's got to be some people who like them, but I just don't care for them.
I feel like the Tweedles are kind of a little too much.
They feel unnecessary. Because
they feel unnecessary for how they're doing them.
Yeah. If they were people, or if they were like the informants from Double, where, oh, these are regulars at the Milk Dipper who can provide us information on incidents when they happen, sure.
Yeah.
But they're not. Most of the time. They're comedy characters in a show where 4/5 of our main writer are comedy characters.
I mean, you need a side of comedy with your comedy, right?
No.
But comedy.
It's too much comedy. And the Imagin are better at it.
I mean, comedy comes in sixes, right?
No. Only if it is designed to annoy the fuck out of me every time it's on screen. But yeah, everyone settles in for the night and ends up just asleep when one of the thieves shows up in the morning. Luckily, Uteros didn't crash, so he catches them and forces him to run off, which wakes up like Hana and Yuto, who give chase, and Uteros possesses a half-asleep Ryutaro and gives chase on the bike. Because that was probably the smarter decision. Yuto, where is your bike?
Very true.
Because you have one of these.
But the bike drives the train. Because it makes sense.
But it can separate from the train and just be regular bike.
No, bike is part of train. I feel like that is the idea for the bulk of the show so far on that. And I'm like, I kind of get it.
Except for the times that you separate those two things so bike can be bike instead of steering wheel.
Yeah.
But anyway, they end up catching him, and the guy's like, hey, so we stole some gems back in the day, we hid it in the floor, and now my partner is trying to rob this jewelry store that is just so happens to be across the street. And I love that Uteros at this point just gives him the look of, you're a lying sack of shit, there's more going on here. But the alarm goes off, and he's like, fuck, we gotta go deal with this. Hana, get on the bike, we're gonna go intercept this guy. Because it might just be me, but it feels like this, where they're going is part of the movie.
Maybe? It doesn't help that we kind of don't get to see much about what happens after.
Yeah. And also, it feels like it's filmed differently.
I almost wonder if maybe they had to cut the movie down a little bit.
It wouldn't surprise me, because I'm sure it's the normal writer-length movie. Of course, you don't give me the runtime.
Of course not.
It's probably like an hour, hour and a half. Actually, let me just find it. Nope, that's the first episode. How fast can this open in VLC so I can check? Hour 19. Which is a director's cut of the movie, so it's probably supposed to be an hour long. But anyway, they corner the guy on the jewelry store. The other guy spawns an Imagine. Yuto has to fight it for a bit. And it just stalls him until, I guess, the other Imagine fulfilled the contract, went back in time, and the 10-liner crew gave pursuit, which Deneb, I guess, was up there with them, and then reported to Yuto, like, hey, they went back through time, and Yuto then realizes, fuck, it's a trap, we must follow them! But back in time, Ryutaro and Momotaro's take out the Imagine, but while they're fighting, this gives Gal the opportunity to just hop on the Den liner and just fucking take it, and they just drive off, stranding Ryutaro and Hana in the past. And at this point, we see clips of the climax scene with the 4 Denos fighting Gao and his crew. But if you want to follow up on that, tune in next week when we go over Ore Tanjo. Because now we move to after the movie happened with episode 28, Too Lucky, Too Excited, Too Strange. we follow up with more scenes from the climax scene just to establish where we are. And we hop on the Denliner as the crew is celebrating a hard-fought victory over Gao. And like we go over, oh, so Ryotaro got pulled from different times, so we can have 4 Denos. And nothing bad happened until Oda is like, you're gonna be fucking lucky if nothing bad happens. But then we start to see Ryotaro start to disintegrate from the feet up. Oh no. They also soon realize, hey, we never got the other Imagine that Ryotaro was Yuto was fighting. We should probably go handle him. It's a good thing he waited however long it took the movie to happen to not cause problems.
I mean, yeah.
But Hana and Ryotaro head out to look for it. But then we see that Yuteros and Kentaros are starting to disintegrate, which is also not good. But we check in with the Imagine because he decides to, I guess, go steal the jewels that this guy sold for fucking nothing because he's terrible at his job.
Yes.
And also, he didn't hide the jewels in the middle dipper floor. He took them and then sold them. But he's going attacking people, stealing jewels. He attacks this couple, and Ryotaro with Kentaros arrive in time to save the girl in this couple, the girl from this couple, but not the guy. He goes in the drink. But as Kentaros is fighting, he gets ejected out of the Denliner suit, the Deno suit, back to the Denliner, and Uteros tries to attack in, who's immediately ejected himself. But now Momotaro steps in, and everything is fine. And he almost takes out the Imagine, but a trading sword hit throws his finisher off, and it gets away. But as they're trying to figure out what happens, Ryotaro goes, yeah, we're all exploding. Slowly. We're all gonna die. And that's when Uteros and Kentaros notice their disintegration. So, oh no. But back on the train, this is where Owner fills us in. So the gambit you pulled, which I guess was Yuto's idea, unless the movie tells us otherwise, because it might have been Ryotaro's idea to start with and Yuto just did it. I don't know. But this little gambit to get 4 Denos means Ryotaro has technically broken his contract with Uteros, Kentaros, and Ryotaros. So they've been left astray. And now that they have no one keeping them in the present, they're going to go poof. And there's nothing we can do to stop them. Because, unlike with Sieg, we have no point in time to drop them off to keep them whole. So, everybody's sad now. Because we can't save them. We're screwed. Ryotaro doesn't take this well. He storms off. Momotaro's this entire time has his back to them, sitting like at one of the tables, messing with this like little like metal puzzle thing. I guess just to not deal with his emotions at the moment. And I think Naomi's sitting on the bar, but we don't get a reaction from her just yet. Denim hears about this. He informs Yuto about this. He's upset about it. Hana catches up with Yurtaro. He's trying to train because he thinks if he's strong enough, he can stop it. Except he can't. Because as him and Hana are coming back to the train, we see, all four Imagine get one last drink from Naomi. And by the time Ryutaro and Hana get back, the drinks are all that's left. And all of them, I think, are untouched.
It looked like it.
Yeah. So they got their drinks, did a toast, and then went poof. And so Momotaros is still there with a drink of his own, just continuing to play with the puzzle. As Ryutaro walks in, sees the no drink, sees the drinks, and is just broken by this. We see the sand coming off of him, which I think Owner says are remnants of the three of them. And he actually collects a bunch of the sand in his hands, and that turns into the K-Taros phone, which I've mistaken for the K-Touch on stream, because they are too similar in name. Why?
Because reasons. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta have stuff similar, or people will forget what it is. Right?
Yeah.
Except no. That's not how that works.
Momo's playing this a bit reserved. And it's very clear that he's just trying not to deal with it because he's not ready for this. He can't handle this. We see Naomi's behind the bar, crouched behind it, just crying. We see Hana in the hallway crying. We don't see a reaction from Owner, but it's Owner. And we actually have a beat of the train going through the wasteland of time. Just hear the whistle and silence. Because, yeah, they're gone. They are legitimately gone. For 5 minutes. We can't let this hold for long.
Nope.
But eventually... crap. 1 second. Need something in my throat, really quick. But eventually the Imagine goes back in time, and Momo and Ryutaro follow. They transform. Neither one of them are into this fight. They're just not up for it. So they end up getting their butt kicked, so they head back behind a tree. They need backup, but Yuto's short on cards. He can't help. There's no one else to call. Because while we've got the phone, who's gonna call them? Or who can they call? Fortunately, they get a call themselves in the middle of this fight. And I do love this, because it just starts ringing at them, and they're like, the fuck? And they answer it, and it's Utaros being like, hey, guy, hey, hit the buttons. And Momotaros is just clearly confused by all this. As the Imagine is still attacking him, he just swipes away like, hey, I'm on the phone. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I love that. He just keeps hitting him like, would you stop? I'm doing something. This is far more important than you.
Yeah, so Utaros tells him to hit the buttons on the bottom. He does. And we hear Kentaros or Ryutaros, which spooks Momotaros to drop the phone on a conveniently placed rock to hit the side button to activate Climax form. So the phone attaches to the belt, the Ditto armor changes to a new version of the armor, and he gets an Utaros shoulder pad, a Kentaros shoulder pad, and a Ryutaros chest piece, and gets set on fire, along with the den liner for dramatic effect. That flips Momotaros the fuck out even more after his head part splits open to reveal a new helmet piece. Because Momotaros is having to deal with a lot within the span of like 2 minutes. He needs a minute. But now, technically, Ryutaro is being possessed by all four Imagine. And while any one of them can take control of the whole body, they technically are in control of different parts of the body. So Uteros has one arm, Kenteros has the other arm, Ryuteros has the chest, and Momotaro's has everything left over. Now you see why I said Trinity should have debuted in a Den-O episode.
Yep.
Because Trinity does this exact same fucking thing. How the fuck is this not in a Den-O episode? It's literally a reference to Climax. What the fuck? Gio, you're bad at your references. You're always bad at your references. But yeah, they pretty much blow through the Imagine and do a rider kick, which looks weirdly like crap. What's the word I'm looking for? It looks weirdly green screened into this scene. And I think it's because of all the particle effects and stuff they added to it. Because it's very clearly not there. But back on the train, everyone celebrates. Yay, everyone's back. We've reversed the bad ending. We didn't suffer consequences yet. But Hana is not here, and Motaro's, well, he kind of shoves everyone off. He's happy. And when he gets to the hallway, you see that Hana's just kind of like crying, happy, like everyone's back. And I do like the two of them kind of share like just an angry moment between the pair. Until Momotaro's is like, I'm going to tell everyone. And then Lee goes in there to go tell everyone what Hana's been doing until she decks him through the side of the goddamn train. Literally, hole. Not Momotaro sized, mind you, but a fairly large hole through the train. He is hanging off the side of it and goes flying off the end of the episode. Why does she not have a belt? I demand she has a belt.
Because if she can do that to an Imagine, then she don't need a belt.
True. She could probably handle a lot of things on her own.
Yep.
But anyway, that is our second half. How'd you feel about this second half?
Less confused, I can definitely say that much.
Mm-hmm.
I love how what we have been using as B-plots just really are super back burner for these four.
Yeah, they are incredibly ignorable.
Because it full on goes to show what they've managed to do with basically doing the two episode arcs, but essentially not.
Yeah. We've only come so far from Den-O. At least the core of Den-O is still good.
Yeah.
And while we'll get to it more once we get to liner form, which is the proper Den-O final form, but Den-O is one of those seasons that I think technically has two final forms, and this is one of them. But that's mainly because crossover films decide, hey, what if we just eliminated Ryutaro from the Climax formation and just say all four Majin can do it? Because that's what happens in Let's Go. That's what happens a few other times, I believe. I think... I'm trying to remember if that happens in the Den-O Decade movie, but I don't remember. But I feel like outside of the use of the Keteros, these two forms can technically be, this and liner can be technically separate things, just because of post-series establishment, which I'm fine with. I would think that'd be cool to have the two of them fight side by side. But we've never gotten it.
And never will.
Nope. Yeah, Den-O continues to be good. And like I said, folks, we're watching the movie next week. So we're taking a pause on the series, which means we still have Hana for a little bit, because I believe we have to say goodbye to Hana the week after. I was going through the episodes and stuff, and yeah, I think we have to say goodbye to Hana 2 weeks from now. And welcome Kohana 3 weeks from now. Because we technically get 2 episodes with no Hana of any variety. But between now and then, if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away at that affiliate goal. At TGSoon on Twitter, because the updates go live. Next, make sure you link Discord and chat. It's Discord link. Drop by, say hi. We will see you next week, folks.